Hi, my name's Cara McCauley and I work in Indiana's advanced industries. So when I was in high school, I was a nerd, I'll be honest. I loved anything math and science, and as I mentioned, I was at a county high school in the early 2000s, and so there weren't a lot of advanced college courses that were just available. So I knew then, with some advice from some guidance counselors and teachers, that college was going to be in my next step, because I just didn't really get as the advanced science and math that I was looking for. And I think trying to figure out where I was going to go was really the first time I stepped outside of my comfort zone of, rural Indiana, by applying to universities across the country, not necessarily just within Indiana. Anything math and science were my favorite high school classes. I loved the logical building of knowledge, being able to put things together and kind of having a right way to do things to get to like an outcome. So I was a total nerd, right? Anything math or science, any combination of those really worked for me. And that just really kind of helped me see where I wanted to go moving forward. I was deciding what to study in college. I really was using, what my favorite courses were, math and science. And what I knew is that if you're good at math and science and you enjoy them, you can become an engineer or a doctor. And so I thought, I guess I'll just try an option where I have a combination of both. And so I was looking at universities that offer a College of Engineering as well as a pre-med option, because I thought that was keeping my options open. Some combination of those were really the two careers that I knew of that aligned with my interests. My role at Corteva, I'm a herbicide biologist. I'm working to develop novel herbicides, so crop protection products that can control these problematic weeds for our farmers so that they can grow a healthy crop. A day in the role of a herbicide biologist, it may look like, attending some meetings, right? Every job has meetings. There's no way to get around that. But it's also, preparing for an experiment. It's looking at different herbicide combinations that we want to propose, to farmers in another country, and that we need to prove that it can work in the greenhouse. And so I'm looking at labels, sometimes in different languages, trying to translate those, and putting together programs to try to help these farmers. And it's a lot easier to do this work in the greenhouse first before we start asking, folks, sending material out to different countries and getting that information there. 19-year-old Cara was, what would it have been? Freshman or sophomore year. So I did my undergrad at Cornell University, majoring in biological engineering, and pre-med is how I started. So when I was 19, I thought I was going to become a doctor. Because I thought that's what you did when you liked math and science, and I really just hadn't had that exposure to the variety of careers that you can have within math and science. So 19-year-old Cara was on the pre-med track, was studying for the MCATs, and I had an experience where I did about a 1-week internship, if you will, at a hospital, at Riley Hospital here in Indy, and it was not for me. I was so sad. I realized just how emotionally tolling being a physician could be, and that just wasn't something that I felt I could do every day. And kudos to doctors, they've helped me in a variety of my life phases, but I was like, uh-oh, this isn't me. And so I really did a bunch of self-reflection. Here I am in college, I had this plan to become a doctor, and all of a sudden I can't do it. I don't want to become a doctor anymore. And so I really started to, explore the other colleges at Cornell to see what else, where could I find my calling? And I just didn't see my place in ag, because I knew farmers. I ended up marrying a farmer. I'm very aware of what farmers do, and that's just not my interest. But I think it was that exposure in college where I was like, oh wait, you can apply what you're passionate about into a way that can contribute to the world in such a significant way. And I was like, okay, now I need to kind of figure this out. Learning to do the hard work that no one wants to do, and being willing to do that can really show your engagement and your passion for the project that you're working on, and people really notice that. I think getting involved with the team, working on a bigger project, seeing what needs to be done, and being willing to do that annoying task, to rework this pinch point that the team is experiencing that can make their jobs easier, is something that people really feel. And it's amazing how many more opportunities may come your way. It's not just about doing the job that you're asked to do, Usually that's pretty easy. It's what can you do in addition to that to really help the people that you're working with in ways that they may not even know that they need help. If you're having a hard time deciding what to do, I like to flip a coin. And the secret here is you flip a coin, deciding between two options, and depending on what result you get, your gut will tell you what you really wanted. So if you get the result you want and you're relieved, then you know. And if you get the result that you secretly, subconsciously don't want, and your gut sinks, you're like, oh wait, now I know that my gut's telling me the other way. So that's just one little trick I've used. But I think it's just being comfortable with being uncomfortable, because life is hard, and but that's what makes it fun, is figuring out how to make it work for you.